Hi, and welcome to what is today? Wednesday, April the 15th. Confidence on Camera Wednesday. We're talking about story today. I've got a couple of scripts that I want to go over. Something that I keep forgetting to qualify at the start of these is that I teach adults and I teach kids and teens. And so I've invited a really mixed group to this particular lesson. And so if that's a little bit unfamiliar for you, just know that teaching the two is really not that different. That in my experience, breaking things down into the basic pieces and making it make sense, the types of scenes that I would do with adults and teens obviously are different. And I've got an adult scene. If we get through the scene that I picked for us quickly enough, then I've got a second scene as reference, just so we can take a look at that. The teenagers can see a little bit more of sort of what's coming for you. Uh, and Ebert can get something that's sort of a little bit more immediately relevant. Uh, the three basic questions that I went over with last week were, and I've got them right here. What is the story? Who are the characters? And what do you want them to do or feel? And so story beats story style. We're going to quickly zoom through that. One of the things that is endlessly interesting to me about film and TV acting is that it defies a really simple way to sort of break it into bite-sized pieces. To say, well, just do this one little thing and then this thing always comes next. That the only way I know how to teach it is in a slightly more organic way. But we're going to focus today on characters. So we're working on these are audition sides from a script called Close Up. This is something that I helped somebody audition for earlier this year. So it's something that I have the breakdown for. Now, one of the first things that you might want to do when you got a scene like this is go to IMDb and look it up. Now, because this has not been produced yet, it's just got the very small right up here. We've got Close-Up Drama Mystery TV Series 2020. This tells a wonderfully layered story that illuminates the strength behind one young woman's act of rebellion and its impact on changing the world. Right? Very, very vague. Oh, Megan Charpentier is in this. Megan studied with me for years and years. I know her really, really well. I could show you footage of her acting at probably like 10 and 12 and 14, and now she's been very, very successful lately. So I followed it through to followed through this link, see full cast and crew. I'm on imdb.com. Okay, looks like Megan booked the character that we're looking at today. So that's interesting too. We can look at her in more detail if we want. I wonder if this is the James Dean, who's a student of mine. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Because I want to get the tone first, just a sense of what the story is, a sense of what the tone is, I'm going to start by looking up at the director and the writer and just see if they give me any information. Okay, so the director, Close Up, Impulse. I could go and look up Impulse and Titans if I wanted to really go in detail, and maybe that would give me clues to what the style of this show is going to be, because that's who they've tapped to direct it. Remember from our industry day, the director's in charge of the story. So who the director is and who the producers have chosen to direct any given project is usually a good indicator of the style, at least gives you some sense of it. The writer doesn't always. In this case, you can see that the writer of Close Up TV series, pre-production, post-production, 2020. 12 years ago, they wrote a TV series called Three Delivery, which if we follow that is an animated series about three orphan siblings in Chinatown. Attempt to locate missing recipes with mystical powers while doubling as Chinese food delivery couriers. So it's a little unclear. We've got a director who directed big American TV shows, The 100, Titans. I don't know Impulse personally, but it would be easy to look up. And then we've got the writer who was tapped for close up. Possibly they worked on it for a long time. And their last thing before that was this. So then if we go back to the script and look at the breakdown, because this is something that I coached, I've got the breakdown here. Oops. Um, so close up, series regulars, Vancouver release pilot, ABC signature freeform, executive producers, right? We could look them up as well. Casting director, oh, Tiffany Mack cast this. That's great. Maybe if we get a chance, we can ask her more about it when we see her on Friday, because we have Tiffany joining us on Friday. So Abby, female, 17, 18 plus to play younger or else legal 18. The reason they do that in a breakdown or the reason that they're looking for that in casting is that if somebody is legal 18, then they can work longer hours. They can work adult hours. Smart, endearingly awkward, big beating heart, is every girl with a Save the Whales t-shirt and an unfortunate haircut. Where are we? A natural font of empathy. She can't help but see things from other people's perspective, even those of the other students who make fun of her for being weird. Casting notes. And this is interesting. You don't always get these. Embrace your dorkiness. Not a caricature of dork, just being unique and smart and not giving a shit what anyone thinks. The prototype can be anyone from Beanie Feldstein to Letitia Wright to Kimmy Shields and everything in between. You're willing to be friends with Rachel, even though she's a hard nut to crack and a bit of a social pariah at school. Now, if I was like, what is a social pariah? If I'm on a computer, that would be super easy. I could look it up and find an outcast. Okay, so she's an outcast. They were treated as social pariahs. So even though she's an outcast at school. Then we've got some more information about the project here. Right, so we've got this more detailed storyline. Centerville, New Jersey is like any other town, at least on the surface. When high school outcast Rachel Geyer makes an unlikely run for student council president, it's only step one in her mission to expose the truth and turn her community inside out. Once she strikes the match and the fire starts spreading, most of what we thought we knew about Rachel's world will go up in smoke. Some secrets turn out to be a lot more explosive than others, etc., etc. So all of this just gives us a sense of the tone and style. Right? Remember what it said in IMDb in the very simple write-up: layered story, strength behind one young woman's act of rebellion. And now going into character and how we understand character and how we use that information for let's just see the chat. Breakdown doesn't show on our screen. How can we tell Michael we're muted? Oh no, none of you can see the what I'm showing you? Well, thank goodness you said something. Let me see if I can try this again. So what if I go share screen? There, can you see it now? Now you can see it. Okay, it's because I was sharing the wrong thing. Okay. Thank you so much for catching me there. It's a tech learning curve. So if you are playing Abby, then we're looking for adjectives, right? So we can start here. Smart, endearingly awkward, smart, endearingly awkward, empathy, right, or empathic, weird, right, dorkiness, which for them means being unique and smart and not giving a shit, right? So those are things about the character. If you've got a breakdown, then you can pull them right from the breakdown. Sometimes if the breakdown doesn't have very many of these adjectives, you have to add a couple. So we've got smart, smart, endearingly awkward, empathic, unique, does her own thing, dorky. Yeah, and then we would want to do the same thing for um, we would want to do the same thing for Rachel, even if we didn't have that in this in the breakdown. Sometimes you get a breakdown that's got the details for multiple characters. In this case, we've just got this for Abby. So Rachel walks down the aisle towards the back of the bus. When she suddenly trips, she catches herself in time and turns to see Jen sitting in the nearby row, feigning nonchalance. Jen looks up as if to dare her to say something. Other students, including Jeremy and Alex, are starting to clock the confrontation. Rachel just gathers herself and continues on her way. Okay, so confrontation on the bus, between Rachel, who's the outcast. We saw that in the breakdown in the description. Alex, boo! Give the people what they want. Good, so they want the conflict. Jen is somebody who, right, you could look up the word nonchalance if you didn't know what it meant. Super easy. We can see that Jen, is a rival, of Rachel. Rachel takes a seat towards the back. She's soon joined by a girl with braids, all in capital letters, because it's the first time we've seen her, who suddenly plonks down next to her, and we don't have her name yet. This is Abby, 16. Remember, the clue from the script is that we've seen the character for the very first time, is that their name is all in capital letters in the stage direction. If their name's all in capital letters, we're seeing them for the very first time. We're seeing page 19 of the script. So this is still fairly early in the pilot episode. Abby, I can't believe they did that to your car. Why are you talking to me? Do you not want me to? It's just been a while, Abby. Can't really blame me, I don't. Now, this is an exercise that I got from Kirsten, but can be really effective, is to take these smart, awkward, empathic, uh, unique, does her own thing, dorky, and place them on specific lines so that you're making sure that you are bringing in different aspects of the character with different lines. I'd recommend trying this exercise if you never have before and just seeing if it does good things for you. Right, so you go, okay, awkward, and then empathic. Right, so she's gonna be. So it's gonna start with like, I'm sitting down next to you. Ah, that's hey. Oh, it's weird. Then I'm going to go into like, oh, sorry, like, do you not want me here? Like, okay, if you're not feeling it, uh, then we're going to give a little like, you know, where is it? Doing your own thing, right? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Smart. Yeah, and I'm not saying these are the right choices. These are just me arbitrarily picking ones. And you can just keep flipping them around and just play with it. It just gives you an opportunity to play with different line reads and play with different interpretations that are all fit for who the writer thinks the character is. This is working with the writer, which is something that came up briefly in the story lesson last week. Right, so if it starts awkward, oh, man, I can't believe they did it to your car. Goes into like, do you not want me to? The turns into like, hey, you can't blame me. Into, um, well, Let me explain it like this. If all my friends jumped off a bridge, uh, I'm not going to, and you jumped off a really high bridge. This is going to be smart, it's fact. And I could move these around. I could play with uh, bringing more than one of them into a line, but making your clear choices for who the character is, I can just give you something to hold on to. And particularly if you start by understanding the tone of the show, and then you make those choices before you get into workshopping the script, I think that sets you up for success with that. Now, if I flip over here to look at IMDb, can you see IMDb now? No, you're still looking at the script. Okay. Okay. See, now I know. Ah, man, I've been learning all the time. So if I want to show you IMDb, then I have to go here. Gotcha. Close up, series directed by, series writing credits. If we look up Alex, we look up Keith, we look up the thing that he wrote before this. It gives us a sense of the show. So we started with that. Then we decided on the character. If we were looking at the script in detail and trying to understand the relationship between these two characters, then we would want to make some of those same decisions about Rachel. And we don't have them given to us in the breakdown here. So we would go back to the script. And we know that she's an outcast, right? A high school outcast. Mission to expose the truth. We've got the what it said on IMDb was the strength behind one young woman's act of rebellion. And so maybe then for Rachel, we've got Rachel, strong, rebellious. Think of some other adjectives to describe Rachel. If you can find single word adjectives, it just makes it a little bit easier to hold on to, where we want to make it simple enough that there's lots of different ways that you can explore it, right? There's a lot of different ways to be strong. There's a lot of different ways to be rebellious. It doesn't lock you into a specific delivery, whereas like, eye rolling, I wouldn't choose that as a descriptive because it is so specific. It is a specific physical behavior, that maybe you would want to put in, but I think that would be a trap this early in understanding the story. So throw some options for me into the chat window. If I'm playing Abby and I need to make choices about Rachel, right? She's strong. She's rebellious. Maybe she's independent, right? She's what else? What do we got? Nothing? What about, yes, confident. It's a great choice. Right, just throw them into the chat window. That's perfect. And so that might help you understand, as your endearingly awkward self, like who you're looking at, who you're talking to, what that relationship is. Because I think that once you've got those character adjectives, here are 3 words for me, here's 3 words for them, we then want to follow it into relationship. And if you look at the script, you can see that they're friends. They've clearly known each other for some time. They reference that even in the 2 pages that we've got. Then I think we want to follow that relationship into the strong feeling or opinion about them. And so she's something bad has just happened to Rachel's car. If you're playing Abby, you're going to have to make a decision about what that is, so that you are not leaving it vague or open. One of the things that comes up with actors of any age, honestly, like I think this first came out in the like super simplest way when I was teaching very young kids, but I think it's really relevant for teens, and it comes up with my adults all the time, which is that if there's a spot where you haven't made a choice about what's happening in the script, then potentially that's a spot where your acting comes across as kind of vague, where because you're not sure, the story that you're telling becomes unclear. And often we can't tell from the way you say a line. We won't know as listeners exactly what's missing, but often listening to it will be like, well, I don't know, there's something missing. And as a coach, very often when I follow that, it's like, and I say, well, like what did happen to Rachel's car? The answer is something bad. Yeah, something bad happened to her car. It's like, okay, well, it's not hard, just decide. The script doesn't tell you, it can literally be anything. What bad thing happened to a car, you pick. right? So if you're playing Abby, making some of those decisions is important. So you fill up the life of the scene in that way with those images and choices. And as far as understanding character, which is what I want to keep coming back to and back to today, we start with like baseline 3 single word adjectives for your character, 3 single word adjectives for the other character. What is the relationship? What is the strong feeling or opinion? So that's today's lesson on character. I'm going to unmute all of you and put you in gallery mode, and then let's talk about the strong feeling or opinion a little bit. Right, so if you are, hey Luciana, hey Zara. If you are going to be playing Abby, then what is, or so we're looking at the world through Abby's perspective. We know that we have to keep to the story that's in the script, which is that she sits down on the bus with her friend, right? It looks like they still want to be friends. They haven't talked for a while. It says that Rachel jumped. She says, if all my friends jumped off a bridge, I wouldn't. You jumped off a really big bridge. So Rachel did something that made her a social pariah or outcast. Abby has been kind of staying away from her, but now they've done something terrible to Rachel's car. Abby's coming and and talking to her. Right, that's the scene that we've got. Right, and she's running for student council, and there's something about that Abby clearly respects. Which, since we looked through the breakdown, we can see that like she does her own thing. So maybe that's the thing in there that she respects. But if you're playing Abby, what's your strong feeling or opinion about Rachel? And let's throw some things out. I think that at this point, you're not, even if you're understanding the character, you're not married to the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Right? Try on some different options, because until you try it with the scene, you won't necessarily know if it's right. You're still just taking guesses. Okay, let's go to one of our actual teen girls, as our resident teen girl experts. Evia, if you're the endearingly awkward Abby, and you're sitting down on the bus with your friend who like nobody's been talking to, including you, for months, but like now you're reopening this conversation, what is the strong feeling or opinion about Rachel? What might it be?
I feel like I'd be mostly uncertain, because if you don't talk to someone for a while, you don't know how much they can change, especially knowing that Rachel did something to become an outcast. So I feel like it'd be uncertainty around her.
Yeah, totally valid option. We just need something that fits the story. So as long as it's that's a flavor of uncertainty where your character is genuinely curious, where you're like, I'm not sure, but let's find out. Like, we used to be good friends. Let's find out. And the reason that I will say strong feeling or opinion, and I've talked to a lot of you about this in classes before, is that when we're making choices about a script, I think that you want to make very charged emotional choices, because only some of that is going to come into your scene. What's going to happen is in the scene, your attention wants to be out, looking at the other person, seeing the other person, and the impulse, because I think the actor often has lots of uncertainty. They're like, well, I'm not sure what the right choice is. And so the impulse for the actor is often to make a small choice. Which is, well, I like her a little bit, or I'm a little bit unsure, or I kind of am worried about right? So kind ofs, maybes, and little bits. And my suggestion is that you take all of those away, right? That it becomes 3 adjectives for each person. What's the relationship? What is the strong feeling or opinion? Because the stronger your feeling or opinion, the more likely it is to make a story that we want to watch. Okay, let's go to our other teen girl expert. Raven, that's you.
Oh, right.
What's another option besides uncertain for strong feeling or opinion about the other character?
Could be admiration.
Admiration, absolutely. That's like, wow, like you like I do my own thing, but next level. Like you knew nobody was ever going to talk to you again, and you did it anyway. Like who are you? You are a god of being unique and weird. You know, sure. You know, like would totally valid. You know, and I think supports the text equally well. You know, now, what are some other options? You know, what are some other things that might work? So uncertainty, you know, admiration. Luciano, if you were, oh yeah, Josh.
Anger, maybe, because maybe Rachel betrayed Abby in some sort of way, and yeah.
The given what we've got in the script, you know, which is like sort of friendly lines. You know, we've got the description of Abby as having a big beating heart, the highly empathic, uh, that willing to be friends with Rachel. You know, so as long as it's a flavor of angry that's like, hey, like, you know, the like, let's be friends. You know, but like, sort of that was not cool, right? So as long as it's not like I hate you, like that wouldn't be supported by the script.
Right.
You know, but I think just choosing something simple and going like, okay, I'm angry because she didn't tell me that she was going to do this crazy thing, you know,
Maybe, like,
or
maybe annoyed.
right. I think that it would be worth playing with. Basically, you would just try it and you'd be like, oh yeah, no, with these lines in this story, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Or maybe you'd be like, wow, that's a really unique and interesting take on this character that feels right to me. That is the story I want to tell. Remember, that was the question last week. It's like, what story do you want to tell if you're Abby? You know, anybody else want to throw something in? You know, so yeah, Lincoln, please.
When you said what she was like, what was making everyone not like her, I looked at the script. It said she's running for student council president,
Yes.
and for a feeling that was it she would have.
So
Abby?
what we're looking for is understanding the characters. And so if you're playing Abby or you're trying to understand the character of Abby, what is Abby's strong feeling or opinion about Rachel? Yeah, so I'll take somebody else and you can think about that for a second, but that's what we're looking for is what is the strong feeling or opinion about Rachel? What about you, Zara? You know, like,
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
just
But
guess.
all these are great adjectives.
I agree. You know, so even if it's wrong, what's something that we haven't tried yet? So, you know, so we've tried on, you know, uncertain. We've tried on admiration. Whoa, you're amazing. We've tried on like, hey, you know, like stop being weird. You know, what else haven't we tried on?
Can I think about it for a second?
Of course you can, Lincoln.
Proudness, because she's sitting beside someone and her being
Fun, yeah, that's a different flavor than admiration, isn't it? You know, to be like, wow, you're my friend, and everybody hates you. Right on. Yeah, Raven.
Pity.
Pity? Oh, yeah, that thing they did to your car. Like, wow. Yeah, and everybody hates you. Like, what are you doing? Sure, Avia. Oh, yeah, to just be like, man, like, are you okay? Because like I know I haven't been talking to you for a couple of months, and here's why, and like, yeah, and that one you would probably be really important to try on if you were exploring this character, because it says a couple of times in her breakdown that she's got the big beating heart and she's really empathic and she wants to be your friend. Zara.
I didn't hear Avia's, but sympathy?
Right, empathy, sympathy. You know.
Oh, did she say sympathy?
She said empathy.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
sympathy.
Well, and you want to try on the one that seems meaningful for you. You know, what about you, Ebert? You know, any thoughts? You know, on that character? Anything that that we haven't tried yet?
Maybe Mrs. spending time with Rachel, like
Right. Like maybe it's as simple as like, hey, like no, things are weird, but like I miss you, and you want to try that on. Yeah, and likely what's going to happen is as you explore those, because as an actor you just can't sort of decide in your head, oh, this is the perfect way to tell this story. At least not in my opinion. You really have to run it through your body and see what it does to your performance. Yeah, and so it's not about right. There is no right. There's a what fires you up, what activates you, what connects to the story the writer gave you, the story that you want to tell. Yeah, and explore, play with it. If you were playing Abby, I would recommend trying on 3 or 4 or 5 of those, and probably would find one that felt right, but all of the ones that you tried would inform your performance. What you would find is that without you even really trying to, if you were really exploring each one all the way, then little bits of them would creep into your performance. Maybe just color one line, and I definitely know actors who will get really academic on purpose, who will go in and on purpose be like, here's the line where I'm going to put that in. But it's also really possible to find it in an exploratory way like this. And so hopefully I've given you a sense of the value of not making your decisions about, here's how I'm going to say the line. Instead, starting with, from that place of, who is this character? Who am I talking to? What is the relationship between them? And then what's that strong feeling or opinion? Any questions before we wrap for today? Okay. Tomorrow, we've got Candace Fulton, who's the senior, or one of the senior talent agents at Kirk Talent, coming to talk to us. So I will be fascinated to hear what a talent agent's life looks like right now in quarantine, what she's talking about there at the agency, what she's hearing casting talk about in terms of like how people are adapting and what comes next, and what she thinks actors should do in this time to be really ready for when the industry comes back. So I'm excited about that. And then on Friday we've got casting director Tiffany Mack, who among other things cast the thing that we were looking at today. Tomorrow we can take a peek at Tiffany's IMDb profile, so you can see the many things that she cast and get excited to see her on Friday. And like usual, on Friday, I will prioritize questions from those of you who have been here through the week. Because she's a casting director, probably we'll get a bump of 10 new people who are like, sure, I'll come for the casting director. But we'll prioritize taking questions.
It's gonna be recorded, Michael?
Only if she allows us to do so. And if not, then I will transcribe the best parts of it and post them so that we can still share the benefit of her wisdom, even if we can't hear her voice. Okay, that was just about exactly our half hour. The Lincoln, I think I'm getting closer to taking your advice of making these, more concise. Right, come back next week. I'll have even better visual aids. One of my thoughts for next week for the story session is I would like to get one of you to volunteer to work with me before the session on the scene, so that I can first talk through the script, and then I can say, and here's Avia the first time that she did it, and then we coach for a while, and here's the last time she did it, with some of those layers in it, so you can see what that might look like. Cool, right? That would be a fun addition. And then one of you would get to do that, sort of like a little bit of free coaching as part of the story session each week. Okay, ending the meeting. I'll see some of you tomorrow. Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.